The debate between the new Avengers and Rebirth is intensifying. Which team should you use in acquiring this new upcoming legendary character? People got a lot to say, but let's look at some of the practical applications of our roster and what implications that might have for you. First off, Rebirth. It's the most common team, right? Most people have it. It's needed in raids, so no matter where you are in the game, it is probably wise to put some type of investment in this team. So on the top, we see my endgame Rebirth roster. Everybody's level 95, teal gear. And on the bottom, we see the young account. We see Lil Gideon. We're wavering there between 70 and 75, gear tier 14. And that's getting it done for me in the Doom raid. So that team is able to auto all the nodes in Doom First Strike. Doom 1 is the same without the isolate requirements. So the point that we're making here is we have two accounts at two different stages of development. The teams look different. So that's probably where you're at, right? Different people in the game are at different spots. Your teams, your rosters look different. So how are you going to get the most bang for your buck? How are you going to score the most points? We recognize from the way the trial system works, as you increase the difficulty, you're going to need stronger teams recommended at certain gear tier levels. Plus, there are requirements. So for example, level 4, you could probably just use anything. The requirements will be more general. But as stated, once we get up to like level 5 through 7, you will need the Rebirth team or the new Avengers. You can hybridize them if you don't have all the members. I know Agent Venom has been difficult for people to get, so some newer players might not have them. So again, you can hybridize and blend the two teams together so that you can be more effective in the nodes. However, once you get up to difficulty 8, the nodes will require each team individually. And so as we start to reach that difficulty level, the size of your team, the abilities of your team, obviously, whether or not you have the team will determine what kind of score you're going to be able to get. And since Rebirth is the most common team, since you got a Rebirth, I got one, he's got one, she's got one, everybody's got them, people are going to have similar scores. So since people have been developing their teams for certain content, let's say the incursion raid, let's say many people are at difficulty 4. Most people's teams are going to look similar. So that means the leaderboard scores will be very close together. It's really going to come down to skill and ability. Those efficiency points are going to matter. And for some of us, since we've just been simming the raids, we've just been putting the team on defense, we might not be familiar with how to play it. So we might want to practice a little bit so we understand the ins and outs and the flows of the team. As we start getting up to that next level, that Kraken level, your overall team power is probably going to set the bar there. There's my cap. He's at gear tier 17. However, we know that people took theirs to 18 for Dark Dimension 6. Some people have the entirety of their team at 18 because they're doing higher levels of the raid. So individuals who have that much power, who have that much time and money invested, are naturally going to score higher. You're not going to be able to do anything about that. Individuals that have that higher investment will be able to push farther into more difficult sections of the trials, thus scoring more points. However, even then, the team only maxes out how it maxes out. So even at the top end, there will be a cap for how many points you can score. That brings us to the new Avengers. Now, this team's going to be more rare, right? It's a defensive war team. A lot of people weren't digging it, so they skipped it or they really didn't invest in it. However, as you can see with my account, Big Gid, I was going hard. Level 95, gear tier 16. Plan on taking Tiger to Dark Dimension 6, so we're moving her towards 18. We accidentally clicked on Mockingbird, brought her up to 17. You shouldn't play Marvel Strike Force. When you're tired, you might make mistakes. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and throw them on Alliance for defense and see what happens. Now, on to the bottom picture, Little Gid. So again, level 85, and we're trying to get all these characters to gear tier 16. We got Ronin, but we're trying to get the rest. This might be the most important and contributing factor to this iteration of my trial run on the young account. So here's the application. When you are a newer player, I'm always an advocate for building the newest teams. They're typically the strongest. They're going to get you through more content. So we didn't skip them. There was a lot of talk for new people to skip them, but why? Why would you skip the strongest team that is available to you at this time? Since I stopped building Rebirth because they were already getting the job done in raids, I'm going to be limited by that. The new Avengers for my young account, for my new account, is what's going to put in the highest score for me. This is going to determine how strong my new legendary character is. Along with that, that new legendary character and the team will then be stronger than my new Avenger team, right? As my account grows, the strength of my teams will grow, and this is what's going to help me to compete in other game modes. If I can score higher in other game modes, I get more resources, which in turn I can reinvest those into the next wave of characters, which will be stronger still, and the cycle continues. That, my friends, is how you catch up in Marvel Strike Force. On the flip side, in my in-game account, I'm going to need both teams. I plan on trying to score as high as possible, right? I want to get the strongest legendary character that I can. That's important to me, right? That might not be important to everyone else. You got to do what's right for you. So for me on the end game, I'm going to need both characters, both teams, so I can score as high as possible. I like doing the best I can in any event, so I went on ahead and I made sure I invested in the new Avengers. Now, we're not trying to create FOMO or anything like that. You need to build your teams within reason. Again, when you are a new player especially, don't listen to the hype. The new characters are typically the strongest, so I'm always encouraging you to invest in those. That's how you catch up in the game. But we all have different priorities, right? We all have different things we're working on. What you do isn't going to be the same as somebody else. Make your account strong, make your roster strong for the way you like to play Marvel Strike Force, right? Do you play every game mode? Not everybody does, right? I like all the game modes, so I work on all the teams. But if you have a specific game mode that you're more interested in, if it's just raids, if it's war, then yeah, you should only invest in those characters because that's going to make sure that you are having fun in the game. This is not about FOMO. Don't go back and try to build the characters if you haven't already. There's only a limited amount of time, so no need to blow resources. Pretty much you have what you have, right? You prepare for what's coming and you have what you have. So hey, if you enjoy what we're putting down out here, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let's go ahead and keep getting strong, working hard. We're getting into fall season. It's bulk season. I don't know nothing about that. I can't bulk. But hey, we're going to get that green gobby. I'm going to get mine. Make sure you get yours. Peace.